Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, what a crazy day in the markets today. S&P opened quite a bit lower and continued to sell off throughout the day. You can see this big gap right here where we opened down here around 408. We had a big rally that took place midday, came right back up to the resistance around 412 and a half. Right in this area, rolled back over and sold off. Overnight, if you took a look at this chart here, this is the intraday chart, you can see this huge selling that took place overnight down here to this early morning open. And then we rallied back up here to the 412 and a half area, right? The resistance that I called 2 days ago. And then we sold off down here to new lows. Now, remember, I really believe that we could see the markets come back down here to this 404, 405 and a half area, maybe a bit deeper by Friday. I believe that we have to establish this low. This low channel right now is in the 406 range, and that's assuming this line that I'm drawing is accurate. We could see it move outside of this range on volatility as it tries to roll back up. Now, by the 23rd, 22nd, the SPY cycle patterns indicate that we get a base bottom and a rally phase. I think we're going to come out of it to the upside, resolve to the upside, and continue to move higher. But this has me concerned. This is a 24-hour SPY chart. This is an inverted hammer formation. It could indicate that Friday's move could be a deeper low in the opening and then rallying back up. It is a breakaway bar. We're either going to get a bottoming formation near this location on this inverted hammer formation, or we're going to try to get a little bit lower and roll back up. It potentially could be a engulfing bullish pattern if we find support around, if we open around 406, 405 and a half, overnight because of the selling pressure. Be prepared that we could see an upward bar take place, not a downward bar. We could end up moving off of this low. So theoretically, this is a daily. Let me come back over here to the chart behind it, which is right here, and essentially show you that if we open below this lower channel, let me make this a little bigger, and then I'm going to go back to the other charts. So if overnight we trend downward, we get into this 405, 406 area, try to find support, we could very well move quite a bit higher into late day or midday Friday, potentially back up into this 412, 413 area. What would end up happening is we'd end up having a large white bar off of this type of rotation. This would indicate that we have, because of this bar here being the inverted hammer bar that's set up here, this is essentially a inverted hammer down here. Let me do this. So we have an inverted hammer here, which is set up somewhat like this. If we end up with an inverted hammer followed by a large white bar on Friday, we could end up with an engulfing bullish pattern leading us to a big rally phase, maybe some consolidation, but near the 23rd, we'd be looking at a potentially big rally phase. That could come 22nd, 23rd, and it could rally up, consolidate back out for a couple of days, then move into a rally phase around the 23rd. So understand that as we move back to this chart, and I bring you to this point, imagine we have this inverted hammer. If we open up down here, 406, 406 and a quarter, somewhere around this area, we could very easily move into a rally phase to the upside, which could be very aggressive, possibly back up into this 412, 410, 411, maybe even 414 area. And you need to be aware of this going forward. Now, if I come back over here to the chart, the trading view chart, We've seen this rotation. We've seen how I've drawn this. This is the 17th. So here's our opening at 14:30. This will be 17th overnight. We will get into the opening right here, 14:30. If we do what I am telling you, this bar here may be very close to what is actually going to take place tomorrow. We could see it come all the way back down, maybe around this 406.66, 406.50, 406 support level, and then roll back to the upside. And this would, again, because of the setup with the hammer formation, remember the hammer is set up right in this area here, actually a little bit higher. Let me drag this up. So if we were to open in this area down here, 406, and close up in this area as a white bar, we would end up with a hammer formation. This would be a red bar, which is a down bar, and this would be a white bar, which would be an engulfing formation nearing this apex, which would then likely prompt us to be in a consolidation phase into the breakout range around the 23rd, and that would put us back over here around the 23rd, which is a vertical line here, 23rd of February, 14:30. So we would essentially consolidate, let me get rid of this, consolidate into this area with this breakout range. Now understand that this is the 17th, so we need to move this back to about here, and we need to shrink this. If we were to set up like this, we would likely then move into some sort of a consolidation range here and begin to apex upward in a biased upward trend. So be very aware that we could still weaken, even though I expected this downward trend to take place, potentially Thursday and Friday. I'm trying to warn you right now that a move down into this 406, 406.50, below 407, even deeper, maybe into 406, 405 and a half, would be just what was needed to set up a candle with a wick that would qualify, so hypothetically like this, with a wick that would qualify as an engulfing bullish pattern. I drew it kind of funny, so I'll just move it. Kind of like this, and understand that we would have a very strong potential for a upside move once we reach down into this support area. So if we were to move overnight down into this 406 and a half, down to 405 and a half, maybe a bit deeper, we would have a very strong potential for an upside move moving into the end of Friday, which would be essentially a short squeeze, and would lead us into the apexing formation with another couple of days consolidation, and possibly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday getting into that base rally mode to the upside. So be aware, you could have a lot of volatility tomorrow, and you could see overnight selling prompting a big reversal to the upside, possibly on Friday. I don't believe, as I've shown you with these longer term charts, I don't believe that we are going to see at this point a very deep 402, 400 move. We could, it could be continued to the downside, but I want you to be aware that there seems to be a lot of upward price pressure right now. And we are in this flagging formation, so we could see this reverse back to the upside with a breakaway to the upside off of this inverted hammer formation. And again, right here, you can see, Okay, I'm moving the chart around. You can see that we have this inverted hammer right near support. All we need to do is open up back over in this area, 406.5, maybe 407 and a half, and we could see a very solid back move back up into this area, which is really our consolidation range. I mean, if you take a look at this, and I'll try to draw this as a rectangle and highlight it. We've got a lot of resistance in here. We've got support down here. If you take a look at this range, it's almost kind of in this kind of a scenario off of this close and potentially up off of this close. We've got a lot of support and resistance right in this area. We've got resistance right up in this area. We've got a breakthrough candle, an island topping formation. We come back down with an inverted hammer, a gap down doji, which almost identifies this level perfectly as critical support and resistance. Big reversal to the upside, selling into the downside, reconfirms this support level back over here. And then eventually we come back up to this gapping island resistance area. We stall out. We can't get above it. We get above it briefly. We get a huge move to the downside. Now, if we come back into this 406.5 area, we're going to be right down into critical support. And I believe we could see a bout of consolidation tomorrow morning, maybe for 2 or 3 hours, followed by a fairly solid melt up. We'll see how it plays out. So the line in the sand, ladies and gentlemen, would be pretty much this 405 area, 405.25. If we get below that with any strong momentum, you know, we could see it continue to weaken a bit lower. But because of this support level, if we open up and find support and end up back in this 406, call it 407, 408 area, then we're looking like we want to try to move higher. That's what I believe is going to happen. Okay, guys, trying to keep these updates short and sweet. Remember, next week we move into basing and potential momentum resolve to the upside. So I want you to be aware that next week we could consolidate into this range a bit. Around the 23rd here, we could see a big move to the upside. Okay, guys, there goes a whole bunch of emails. Talk to you later.